Ambassador Lucas Miller stood in the massive Galactic Council chamber. His hands gripped the podium as he faced thousands of alien representatives. The chamber was huge, with floating seats arranged in circles around him. Blue-skinned Krell sat next to insect-like Threx. Giant gas beings floated beside rock creatures. They all stared at him with different types of eyes. "Earth has had enough," Lucas said. His voice carried through translators to every species present. "For 20 years, you have treated humans like children. When we invented new medicines, you locked them away. When we created better engines, you said they were too dangerous. When we offered solutions to problems, you ignored us." A tall green alien with multiple arms stood up. His name was Counselor Vextac. "Ambassador Miller, do not speak out of turn. Your species is young. We are protecting you from yourselves." Lucas felt anger rising in his chest, but he kept his voice calm. "Young? We sent robots to space before many of your species learned to make fire. We cured diseases that killed millions. We split atoms and computed complex equations. Yet you still treat us like we cannot think for ourselves." Murmurs filled the chamber. Some species agreed. Others showed disapproval through head movements or color changes. The Krell ambassador waved her 4 hands dismissively. "Your achievements are small compared to our history. You must follow our rules for the good of all." "Who's good exactly?" Lucas pulled out a data tablet. Since joining the council, human scientists have created 17 breakthrough technologies. How many has the council approved for use? 0. How many human proposals have passed in 2 decades? 0. How many times have humans been excluded from committees? Too many to count. Commander Sarah Lane watched from the human section. She commanded Earth's main defense ship. Her crew was on high alert, waiting for any sign of trouble. Other human ships were positioned around Earth, ready for anything. Lucas continued, "We have tried to be good members of this council. We have shared our knowledge. We have followed your laws. We have paid our dues. But we are tired of being second-class citizens in an organization that values us only when it needs something from us." The chamber erupted in noise. Some species shouted in agreement. Others called for order. The council's ancient leader, a being of pure energy called Elder Zin, raised its form higher. "Silence. Ambassador Miller, what is Earth's position?" Lucas took a deep breath. This was the moment they had prepared for. Earth formally withdraws from the Galactic Council. Effective immediately, all agreements are void. All Council personnel must leave Earth within 48 hours. All Earth assets will be returned to human control. The chamber exploded with reactions. Some species gasped. Others roared in anger. A few began speaking rapidly to their assistants. Dr. Kevin Thompson, Earth's lead scientist, felt his heart racing. They had studied this possibility for years. Every plan they made started with this moment. "You cannot do this," Elder Zin boomed. "The Council protects you. Without us, your planet is vulnerable." Lucas smiled slightly. "We appreciate your concern, but Earth can take care of itself. We have friends among the stars. We have strong military and defenses, and we have something more important: respect for other intelligent life." He looked around the chamber. Some species met his gaze with understanding. Others looked worried. A few seemed calculating, probably thinking about the opportunities this would create. "The Council has spoken clearly," Lucas concluded. "Humans are not wanted as equals. So we will leave and find our own path among the stars. Thank you for your time." He gathered his papers and walked toward the exit. Sarah Lane and the security team followed him. As they left, the chamber dissolved into chaos. Species began arguing among themselves. Some demanded military action against Earth. Others called for immediate trade negotiations with humans now that they were free agents. Back on Earth, President Robert Hall addressed the world. "My fellow humans, our journey into space has taken a new turn. We leave the Council not in anger, but in hope. Hope that we can build something better. Something where all species are truly equal. Across human space, ships prepared to move. Defense systems activated. Scientific teams secured their research. In 48 hours, Earth would stand alone, but not weak. They had prepared for this day, and now it had come. Captain Ryan Walsh stood on the bridge of the Starship Endeavour. Outside the window, he could see Earth's orbital defense grid, massive energy shields that the Council had placed around human space. These shields were supposed to protect Earth, but everyone knew they were really meant to keep humans contained. "All systems ready, Captain," said his first officer, Lieutenant Lisa Chung. "Every ship in the fleet is waiting for your signal." Ryan checked the countdown on his screen. 30 seconds until midnight Earth Standard Time. That's when they would execute the plan they had worked on for 5 years. Only the highest-ranking officers knew about it. Even most crew members thought this was just another drill. "Open a channel to all ships," Ryan ordered. "Channel open." "Sir." "This is Captain Walsh to all units. Operation Starbreaker is a go. Execute in 3, 2, 1, mark." Across human space, thousands of ships suddenly disappeared. Not with bright flashes or loud noises. They simply faded from existence as their quantum drives engaged. The Endeavour's bridge crew watched their screens as Earth dropped behind them. Dr. Elizabeth Turner worked frantically in her lab aboard the space station Titan 7. Her job was crucial: monitor the Council's detection systems. She watched as their scanners looked for the human ships, but found nothing. "Stealth fields are working perfectly," she reported through her communicator. "The quantum drives are invisible to Council technology. They have no idea where we went." The plan had been brilliant. For years, human scientists had noticed something about Council shields. They weren't designed to keep things in. They were designed to keep things out. When you pushed through from the inside, using the right frequency, they simply didn't react. Dr. Turner, her assistant, called. "We're picking up unusual energy readings. The Council's detection satellites are activating." Elizabeth ran to another console. The Council had thousands of sensors watching human space, but as she monitored their reactions, she smiled. "They're trying to track us, but our quantum signatures are scrambled. They know something happened, but they can't tell what or where we went." Meanwhile, on the flagship Unity, Admiral Jack Peterson coordinated the largest fleet movement in human history. Thousands of ships, military vessels, colony ships, science explorers, cargo haulers, all moved in perfect formation. "Report from the outer colonies, Admiral," said Commander Susan Wright. "All settlements are securing their facilities. We're beginning controlled shutdowns of Council-monitored systems." "What about the human population still in Council space?" Jack asked. "Everyone is ready, sir. All human citizens have been prepared for rapid departure. Commercial transports are standing by." The exodus had been planned down to the smallest detail. Every human who wanted to leave the Council's control had a way out. Those who chose to stay could do so, but most had decided to join their people in this bold step. Back on Earth, world leaders gathered in a secret bunker. President Robert Hall watched feeds from across the planet. Cities that moments ago bustled with Council visitors now stood eerily quiet. Orbital docks that once hosted alien ships were empty. "Sir," said General Nancy Brooks, "we're detecting movement from the Valkyrin assembly. They're scrambling their fleet." "Let them come," Robert said calmly. "By the time they reach where we were, we'll be far beyond their reach." In deep space, away from any star system, the human fleet regrouped. They had not gone far in distance, but their quantum drives had placed them in a different sector of space entirely, one where Council maps showed only unexplored region. Dr. Elizabeth Turner reviewed the data one final time. "Captain Walsh, all ships reported green status. We pulled off the greatest disappearing act in history. No alarms triggered, no shots fired. We simply left." Ryan nodded with satisfaction. 25,000 ships carrying over 1 billion humans had vanished from Council space without leaving a trace. The Council would wake up to find their human subjects gone, along with every piece of Earth technology that could be moved. "Set course for the rendezvous point," Ryan ordered. "Let's see what else the universe has to offer people who dare to be free." As the fleet jumped to their next position, a message went out across Council space. It was encrypted, but any species could decode it. The message was simple: Earth has left the building. Those who wish to trade as equals with humans should follow the quantum wake east of the Meridian Nebula. We seek friends, not masters. The silent departure was complete. Now came the hard part: building the new life among the stars. The first signs of trouble appeared within 12 hours. Commander David Parker sat in his observation post on the U.S. horizon. His ship was positioned in Council space, hidden using stealth technology that even the Council couldn't detect. His job was simple: watch and report what happened after humans left. "Commander," said his communications officer, "we're getting emergency distress calls from the Vraxian Empire. Their hospitals are going into crisis mode." David checked his screen. The Vraxians were a proud warrior species, but they depended heavily on human medical technology. Earth's doctors had created breakthrough treatments for diseases that killed Vraxian soldiers. Now those treatments were gone. "They're calling it the human plague," the officer continued. "Not because humans caused it, but because the absence of human medicine is letting old diseases come back." Another message came in from a different sector. The Thex colony reported massive power failures. Human engineers had secretly improved their energy grids, making them 40% more efficient. Without those improvements, the colony's power plants couldn't support their cities. In the Kelvin system, Minister Tara Wilson reviewed emergency reports. The Kelvins had always been polite to humans, but never truly friendly. Now they paid the price. Their entire communication network relied on quantum relays that human technicians maintained. "Ma'am," her aide said, "the quantum network is failing. We estimate complete collapse in 72 hours. Tara felt a chill. Without communications, the Kelvin worlds couldn't coordinate trade, defense, or government. They had never realized how much they needed those human engineers. On the trade route between Drex Prime and New Haven, Cargo Captain Sean Murray watched chaos unfold. Ships lined up at trading posts that suddenly couldn't process transactions. The universal trade currency, backed by Earth's gold reserves and quantum computers, had lost half its value overnight. "Captain Murray," his navigator said, "we've got hundreds of ships asking for help. The Council's main trade computers are down. They keep showing errors about missing Earth authentication." Sean knew why. Humans had created the software that ran most of Council's trade infrastructure. The Council used it without permission, thinking humans were too weak to object. Now that software was locked, useless without human access codes. Dr. Richard Coleman monitored the situation from his secret lab on Luna Base. As Earth's head of strategic defense, he watched his carefully planted systems activate. "The lockout protocols are working perfectly," he reported to his team. "Council systems trying to access our technology are being redirected to dummy servers." His assistant, Dr. Emma Roberts, pointed to another screen. "Look at this, sir. The Grell Consortium just lost access to their asteroid mining equipment. All of it was running on Earth computers." The ripple effects spread further. On Corinth Station, Security Chief John Martinez received panicked calls. The station's defensive shields, designed with human improvements, were malfunctioning. Only the original Council shields remained, and they couldn't handle the station's expanded requirements. "The shields will fail in 6 days," John told the station commander. "We need to evacuate." Meanwhile, in the Council's emergency session, chaos reigned. Councillor Vextac tried to maintain order, but species demanded answers. The Rethian ambassador stood up, his scales changing color with emotion. "How could we not know humans had infiltrated every system?" he demanded. "Our fleets can't navigate at full speed without their updated star maps. Our factories can't produce without their efficiency algorithms. Our hospitals can't save patients without their treatments." Elder Zinn tried to calm the assembly. "We are 1,000 species strong. We can replace human technology. But that was the lie everyone feared. Human innovation hadn't just improved existing systems, it had created entirely new ones. The Council's scientists had no idea how many breakthroughs humans had made because they had dismissed them as primitive. Agent Laura Stevens, stationed in Council space, sent encrypted reports back to Earth. Mass protests on 12 worlds, she reported. Citizens demanding their governments restore relationships with humans. The Council is losing control of the narrative. In the medical sector, nurses and doctors from various species begged for access to human databases, cancer treatments, regenerative medicine, and neural repair techniques, all lost when humans left. Hospitals faced impossible choices about which patients to save. The economic damage grew by the hour. Without Earth's specialized materials and rare elements, some industries simply stopped functioning. The Council's carefully balanced economy, which had taken centuries to build, crumbled in days. Councillor Zithvar slammed his fist on the command console. This is unacceptable. A minor species cannot destabilize the entire galactic order. The humans were more important than we thought, admitted his aide, Lexu. Maybe we should open negotiations. Negotiations. Zethvar's 6 eyes blazed red. We don't negotiate with rebels. Begin immediate seizure of all remaining human facilities. Arrest any humans who stayed behind. Within hours, Council forces moved on empty Earth embassies and abandoned research stations. But Engineering Chief Richard Coleman had prepared for this exact response. He sat in his hidden command center, watching through hacked security cameras as Council soldiers tried to access human equipment. "Look at this," his assistant laughed. "They think they can just log in." On screen, a Threx engineer tried to activate the medical scanner. The device displayed a friendly message. "Please place your human hand on the scanner for quantum identification." The alien placed multiple appendages on the sensor, growing more frustrated with each failure. Dr. Patricia Wilson monitored similar scenes across the galaxy. The biometric locks are working as designed. Every major system requires not just human DNA, but specific brain wave patterns. They can't fake it, even with shapeshifters. Meanwhile, in the Orion mining district, Council Security Director Kreenar thought he'd found a loophole. The defense satellites are automated. They respond to Council military codes. Prepare to take control. Major Kevin Harris watched from his stealth observer stationed near the mining facility. As Council forces approached, the defense satellites sprang to life. But instead of attacking, they executed Protocol Omega-7. "Fascinating," Kevin reported. "The satellites are targeting only Council military vessels that show hostile intent. Transport ships and civilian craft are being guided to safe areas." The defense systems that humans had installed throughout Council space began acting in ways no one expected. They protected the weak while warning the aggressive. Species that had been friendly to humans found their world suddenly better defended. Those who had pushed for Earth's isolation faced system malfunctions. On Kelvin Prime, Ambassador Lisa Martinez secretly recorded a conversation. Kelvin officials discovered that their main defense grid had been upgraded without their knowledge. The human patches they'd installed to fix bugs had actually improved the entire system by 300%. "We can't remove the human code without crashing everything," the Kelvin defense minister admitted privately. "Our planet would be defenseless." The Council's attempts to replace human systems created more problems. In the medical sector, scientists struggled with human pharmaceuticals. Dr. Mark Thompson had designed many medicines with quantum structures that required specific manufacturing conditions. Without exact replication, the medicines became useless or even harmful. "The Vraxian Emperor is dying," reported Council healer Zinthi. "His medicine requires precise quantum alignment that only human labs can achieve. We've tried to replicate it, but..." The economic situation worsened daily. Galactic markets crashed as traders realized how much of their profit depended on human algorithms. The predictive systems that helped species avoid economic disasters were locked to human users only. Agent Sarah White filed reports from deep within Council territory. Business leaders are panicking. The Drex Mining Corporation lost 40% of its value when their quantum drills stopped working. They're blaming the Council. Strange things began happening with the technologies humans had gifted to various worlds. An asteroid defense system on Reth 7 started redirecting space debris away from colonies that had treated human visitors well. Navigation buoys that the Council relied on began sending conflicting signals, but somehow human-friendly ships always received correct coordinates. General Robert Chen, now commanding Earth's observational forces, smiled as reports came in. The automated systems are executing exactly as we programmed. Help our friends, confuse our enemies, but never cause unnecessary harm. The Council's member species started questioning their leadership. The Meridian Collective, a group of research species, announced they had discovered something shocking. Humans had solved problems in physics and chemistry that the Council's scientists hadn't even attempted. The primitive human mathematics was actually years ahead of accepted galactic standards. They were protecting us from our own arrogance, the Meridian lead scientist announced publicly. Humans didn't need our permission to advance. They chose to share their knowledge freely. Ambassador Peter Harrison stood nervously on the massive view screen. He had served alongside humans in the diplomatic corps for 15 years. Now he faced the Council with a message that would change his life. The Kelvin Directorate formally announces our withdrawal from the Galactic Council, he declared. We stand with Earth and recognize our mistake in not defending them earlier. The chamber erupted in chaos. The Kelvins were the first Council members to openly side with humans. Within hours, the quantum communication network lit up with secret messages from other species. Chief Medical Officer Maria Rodriguez worked frantically in her hidden medical facility. Since Earth's departure, she had been receiving encrypted distress calls from across the galaxy. Now those calls increased to hundreds per day. "Doctor," her assistant called, "we're getting an urgent signal from the Rethian Medical Council. They have a plague spreading on Reth Prime." Maria checked the transmission. The disease was familiar, Rethian bone fever. Earth doctors had developed a cure 3 years ago, but the Council had labeled it experimental and blocked its use. Now the Rethians desperately needed help. "Activate Relay Station Theta 9, Maria ordered. "Send the cure formula directly to their hospitals." Across space, hidden human satellites began broadcasting. These small stations, disguised as space debris, had been positioned years ago. Now they revealed their true purpose, delivering medical aid to Earth's allies. On Vraxia Prime, young Emperor Vraxnath watched in amazement as his symptoms improved. The magical human medicine that Council doctors couldn't replicate worked perfectly. His people had always treated humans with respect, unlike some Council members. "Summon my generals," the Emperor ordered. "We owe humans more than just gratitude." In the Outer Rim, mining colony administrator Lisa Chen received an unexpected visitor. A Grell representative floated into her office, its crystalline body pulsing with colors of distress. "We never mistreated humans," the Grell explained. "Our people always paid fair prices for human technology. But now our harvesters are failing, and the Council says we cannot contact Earth." Lisa smiled. "The Council doesn't control everything. Check your main computer terminal tonight at exactly midnight, Colony Standard Time. You might find updated software waiting." Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. Species that had shown friendship to humans during the Council years now discovered they hadn't been forgotten. Transport ships found safe passage through space debris fields that blocked hostile vessels. Agricultural colonies received help with crop blights that threatened their food supply. Captain James Mitchell commanded a smuggling operation unlike any other. His ship, painted to look like a common cargo hauler, delivered medical supplies and technology updates to Earth's allies. The Council had banned all contact with humans, but that didn't stop determined people. "Jump successful," his navigator reported. "The quantum coordinates Earth provided are perfect. Council patrols can't track our routes." At the same time, resistance movements began forming. On Cortland Station, engineering teams sabotaged Council monitoring equipment. They knew how to disable systems without detection, skills learned from human maintenance workers who had maintained the station for decades. Human traders like Mark Stevens operated from mobile bases, moving from system to system. They offered fair deals to any species willing to defy Council blockades. The underground economy flourished as more species realized they needed human expertise to survive. News spread quickly. The Draxi Republic, known for their fierce independence, announced they would create their own trade routes. They had always admired human innovation and refused to let Council politics damage their economy. The Council fears human influence, stated Draxi Minister Kextorn. But we value human friendship. Back in Earth space, Admiral Susan Lee coordinated aid distribution. We're receiving requests from 47 different star systems. Priority goes to medical emergencies and food security issues. In the Meridian Nebula, secret meetings took place. Representatives from various species gathered to discuss forming alternative alliances. They had seen how Earth treated its friends, with equality and respect, compared to the Council's constant demands for obedience. Ambassador Daniel Carter watched as the Shadow Network expanded. The Council thought cutting us off would weaken humanity. Instead, they created the largest underground support network in galactic history. More species prepared to make their break. The Valkyrian Assembly began secret negotiations with Earth diplomats. The Zenthi Order quietly moved their financial assets away from Council-controlled banks. System Governor Amanda Foster watched reports flood in from across Council space. As Earth's last-ranking official still hidden in Council territory, she had a front-row seat to the collapse. Governor, her secure communicator crackled, the Dravian Republic is demanding immediate Council action. Their fleets are targeting Kelvin trade routes. The old conflicts were returning with a vengeance. For centuries, the Council's peacekeeping forces had managed disputes between member species, but those forces had relied heavily on human equipment and training. Without them, tension turned to violence. Dr. Stephen Mitchell reviewed economic data streams from his secret monitoring post. His predictions had been accurate, but even he was surprised by the speed of collapse. The galactic credit system, which humans had helped design, was in freefall. The exchange rates are completely unstable, he reported. The Terran standard currency we introduced was secretly backing 30% of all galactic trade. Without it, markets have no foundation. Admiral Catherine Hayes sat in the observation room on Lunar Station Dark. Her intelligence team intercepted messages that painted a grim picture. The Council's military was fracturing as former human colonies rebelled. Breaking news from the Sigma sector, her aide announced. 3 human colonies have declared independence. They're equipped with old Earth defense technology and refuse to recognize Council authority. These colonies were fascinating cases, settled by humans decades ago. They had carefully hidden their advanced capabilities to avoid Council interference. Now they revealed hidden defense grids and powerful ships that shocked Council military analysts. The Council never knew how many human settlements existed, Admiral Hayes noted. Every colony they thought they controlled had a secret human population. In the galactic banking sector, financial chaos erupted. Manager Laura Kennedy watched as panic selling destroyed markets. The rare elements that powered most Council technology came from human-operated mines. Without these materials, entire industries faced shutdown. The quantum processors alone require Terran-refined helium-3. Laura explained to her panicked investors. Council chemists can't replicate the refining process. We're looking at a 90% shortage within 3 months. Meanwhile, the Council's emergency sessions grew more desperate. Species pointed fingers and made accusations. The Threx ambassador demanded military action. Send our fleets to find Earth, he insisted. Make them return or suffer consequences. But Councilor Maya Rivera, one of the few rational voices remaining, stood up. And how exactly will we find them? Human quantum drives left no trace. Our best scouts have no idea which direction they traveled. The truth was even worse. Human navigational data had been purposely corrupted. Star maps showed Earth systems in impossible locations. Ships sent to pursue them ended up wasting months searching empty space. Agent Carlos Martin filed reports from the Council Military Command Center. He had posed as a maintenance worker for years, giving him access to sensitive information. The military's quantum communication network is failing, he reported. They relied on Earth's relay satellites without knowing it. Command ships can barely coordinate with their own fleets. On the border worlds, former human residents faced difficult times. Council forces visited planets where humans had lived peacefully for generations. On Nexus Prime, the local government tried protecting their human population, but Council troops became increasingly aggressive. Mayor Patricia Wong led the resistance in New Atlanta Colony. "We've lived here for 40 years. These are our homes. We won't abandon them on Council orders." The breaking point came when the Council tried implementing their replacement systems. Every technology they unveiled failed spectacularly. A new medical scanner killed patients instead of healing them. Replacement navigation computers sent ships into stars. Their engineers are making elementary mistakes, Dr. Robert Green observed from his hidden lab. They're trying to recreate years of human innovation in days. Civil unrest spread across member worlds. On Xanthos Minor, riots broke out when power grids failed. Citizens who had enjoyed stable services for decades suddenly faced rolling blackouts and system failures. News anchor Rachel Walker broadcast from an independent station. Breaking update. The Council has lost control of 7 border systems. Local governments are declaring autonomy and seeking direct contact with Earth. Economic warfare erupted between former allies. The Valkyrin Assembly cut off rare mineral shipments to Council core worlds. The Draxi Republic closed its space lanes to Council shipping. Each action created cascading effects throughout the interconnected economy. Secretary General Alan Cooper stood at the podium facing a very different assembly hall. 2 months had passed since Earth's departure. Where once alien species had looked down on humans with condescension, now they sat as equals. The new Terran Coalition headquarters buzzed with energy and cooperation. "Welcome to the first official session of the Allied Free Worlds," Alan announced. "Here, every species has an equal voice. Every innovation is welcomed. Every culture is respected." Behind him sat representatives from 47 star systems. Some were former Council members. Others were newly independent species that had never known any alliance before. The Vraxians, Kelvins, and Draxi occupied honored positions alongside Earth delegates. Ambassador Rachel James watched from the sidelines. She had spent weeks coordinating Earth's carefully planned return to known space. "Look how things have changed," she whispered to her aide. "Remember when the Council treated our delegation like children waiting for permission to speak?" In a nearby star system, trade ships moved freely for the first time in centuries. Captain Michael Torres captained the Meridian Star, one of the first civilian vessels to operate under the new Alliance protocols. "No more Council checkpoints," he told his crew. "No more restrictive tariffs. We trade fairly with everyone, or we don't trade at all." His cargo hold contained medicines headed for Rethian colonies, advanced farming equipment for Zenthi worlds, and quantum processors for Kelvin systems, all made with human technology, but shared freely with allies. Commander Jennifer Adams coordinated defense exercises in the neutral zone. The shocking truth had emerged. The old Council military system was designed to keep member species weak and dependent. The new alliance focused on mutual defense without artificial limitations. "Allied forces are already more efficient," she reported. "When you combine human tactical training with Vraxian strength and Kelvin speed, you get something amazing." Dr. Thomas Wilson worked in the new Galactic Research Center, a facility where all species contributed knowledge freely. The discoveries in just 8 weeks had surpassed the Council's achievements from the previous decade. The breakthrough came when Meridian scientists combined human quantum theory with Threx mathematics. He explained to visiting dignitaries, "None of our peoples could have reached this alone." Meanwhile, in what remained of Council space, the old leadership faced harsh reality. Species that once followed their every command now ignored their authority. Elder Zinn had resigned in disgrace after the truth about his administration's corruption became public. "The Council exists in name only," reported Agent Daniel Turner from his final mission. "Most members have opened secret negotiations with Earth's coalition. They know their future lies with cooperation, not dominance." On Earth itself, President Jessica Martinez addressed a global celebration. "We didn't leave the Council seeking revenge. We left seeking respect. And now we found something better. True partnership with equals among the stars." The restoration process had begun immediately. Human medical ships visited worlds ravaged by plagues they could have prevented. Engineering teams restored critical infrastructure that the Council had abandoned. Trade networks reorganized on fair principles that benefited all participants. In the deeper regions of space, former human colonies reunited with their homeworld. Captain Robert Jenkins led the reunion fleet, bringing home citizens who had waited decades to return. "The colonies never truly left humanity," he observed. "They maintained our values and technology, ready for this day." Economic data told the amazing story. Without the Council's artificial restrictions, galactic prosperity increased by 400% in just 2 months. Free trade, shared innovation, and mutual respect proved more powerful than any control system. The final irony came when the remaining Council leaders requested admission to the Terran Coalition. Once so proud of their supremacy, they now sought to join equals they had scorned. "Every species deserves a second chance," Alan Cooper declared at the membership committee meeting. "But this time, they join as equals. No special status, no superior rights, just partnership." In the observation deck of Unity Station, Admiral Paul Roberts studied star maps with new Allied commanders. They planned joint exploration missions to uncharted space. The energy fields that had kept humans contained now powered starships headed for new discoveries. "The Council always said they were protecting us," Admiral Roberts mused. "But they were really protecting themselves. From change, from growth, from sharing power. Now we protect each other by standing together."